I left you with.
So guys, this is my first time staying long in Denver. So I've always stayed at the short. Let's do a room tour. I don't like that toilet sound. Toilet. Shower. Sink. 2 beds. Fridge, coffee. And I really like that they have illy coffee here. Illy coffee is good. Another bed. Artwork. And y'all, it is a snowstorm in Denver. It's been raining since before we got here. And I mean, snowing. And it's still snowing. Look at this. Look at this winter wonderland. This is ridiculous. I don't got time for it. Okay, let me charge my battery. I like this little desk looking thing. Let me charge my battery and then I'm gonna talk to y'all. Alright guys, I'm in Phoenix. I've been here before, but I had a different room type. So let's explore. Sorry, there's toilets. If y'all have watched my Phoenix vlog, you have seen this floor. Sink. Shower. And here's the room. Last time I was here, I was really excited that they had an espresso. I'll probably use that in the morning because we got a very early report. And today I had trouble finding coffee and I was so irritated. I had a king size bed this time. Last time I had 2. And last time I had a view of the pool. And this time I have this view. Alright, let me get changed. I'm gonna sit down and talk to y'all. Hey y'all, hey. So now that we have changed, we can talk a little bit. Okay. It's really bright right here. I probably should have picked this spot, but it's good lighting. Okay, hey y'all. So today's video is just gonna be a sit down video. The reason for that is because I want to kind of give y'all some little life updates. Number 1, number 2, the layovers that I have on this trip. Well, okay, let me first explain this. I was supposed to be on A days for the last 3 days, and I had been assigned standby, and my standby was at 7 a.m. And so I was traveling to Detroit on that 11 o'clock flight that I told you guys about before, so that I could just sit in the lounge until my report time. While I was doing that, I ran into one of my classmates who was doing the same thing. She had a trip that reported at 4:20, and she was on that 11 o'clock flight to Detroit. So I was talking to her and I was telling her like, oh, I really don't want these A days. I don't want them to like not assign me anything, because I'd rather work. Like, I don't want to sit on standby and then y'all don't assign me anything. I want a trip. And furthermore, I don't want to pay for a hotel. So like, don't assign me no turns where I'm just gonna work the turn and come back to Detroit and then I'm gonna have to pay for a hotel. I don't want to do that. Give me a trip. So she was talking about how she really don't want to work her trip because she had a 3-day trip. And I was like, girl, I'll take your trip. And she was like, do you want it? And like, we both were like, are you serious? Are you serious? So she was serious. She gave me her trip, and the report time was 4:20, like I said. So I was only in the lounge for like an hour or 2 before it was time for me to report. But the layovers were Denver and Phoenix. So I hate Denver. When I was with my other airline, I was based in Denver. And just the amount of times that I've been stuck in Denver, the amount of times that I've had to do team building exercises in Denver where I felt like it was too cold for us to be outside, like all of that. Just, I don't want to be there. Whenever I see Denver on my schedule, I always get out of it. And the only time that I've been to Denver recently is if I got rerouted or if I got it on 8 days. Not to mention when I was in Denver yesterday, y'all saw those clips that I popped in from my phone earlier. There was a snowstorm going through Denver. So it was snowing, and if you know me, I don't like the cold. So I literally was just in my room sleeping and staying away from the snow because I don't like the cold, I don't like snow. So the first layover was Denver. Today we're in Phoenix. I am gonna get out in Phoenix, but the only thing that I'm doing in Phoenix today is the same thing that y'all saw me do last time. I'm gonna rent a bike and I'm gonna ride the bike for exercise. So if you did not watch my Phoenix vlog, go back and watch it. I'm gonna pop it up right here. And so I really didn't feel the need to vlog this trip because I'm not doing anything. But with that said, I still want to put a video out for you guys. I told you in my last vlog when I went to Velvet, if you didn't watch that, go watch it, that my airline changed their social media policy so we cannot appear on video in our uniform. And also we cannot appear to be like a spokesperson for Delta. So I do want to say that I am not a Delta spokesperson. It's everything that I do and say is strictly my own opinions, how I feel about my job, etc. So I am not a spokesperson. Alright, so with that being said, like I said, I still wanted to give you guys a video for this week. And so I just wanted to talk about a couple things. I actually made notes so that I wouldn't forget what I want to talk about. So hold on. Let me talk about that. So, shoot. First things first, I want to talk about my life as a flight attendant. What I've enjoyed and what I haven't enjoyed. So, I have wanted to be a flight attendant since I was 25 years old. I am currently 32. I know I don't look like it. I applied for my current airline as well as a couple of regional airlines. I did not get it. And so that made me want to research a little bit and figure out, you know, like what's wrong? Why am I not getting this job? So I became a gate agent with another carrier for about 2 years so that I could learn about the industry. And then after I was a gate agent, I was an instructor for about 3 years with that same airline. Loved that job. I actually just talked to my old supervisor today. And like I said, I love that job. But there wasn't a lot of opportunity and growth for me there. And I was starting to get stressed out. I talked about that in my Road to 30 series, which I'll pop up here. But there just wasn't a lot of growth. And so I decided to, you know, jump ship. And I came over to my current airline. Let's talk about some pros and cons. So a pro is being gone. I love being gone. So you're not at home a lot and you're exploring these new places and these new destinations. I've been able to check a lot of places off my list for places that I've never been, and now I've been there and I love that. So and then, you know, every once in a while I would be, so when I was home a lot, like when I was an instructor, it was mostly virtual, so I was home all the time. And then after about 4 weeks of me being home, I'd be like, oh, I just want to travel. So now I don't feel that way anymore, because I get to travel all the time. I travel to work, from work, literally, and for work. So I love that I can just be gone. And another thing is that I have access to the world. You know, like my company flies almost everywhere that you can think of. And if they don't fly everywhere that you can think of, then they have partners that fly everywhere that you can think of. And they have agreements with other airlines so where I could hop on one of their flights if need be. And which brings me to my company. Like I see the numbers. I see the accolades and the awards, and we talked about a lot of the statistics and numbers when I was at Velvet, and I just know that I work for the best company. No matter who your favorite is, numbers don't lie, and I work for the best company. And with that being said, working for the best company means that there's room for growth. You know, I am not at the 2-year mark, which is usually the mark where you can start to move up or take other jobs, but I can't wait to get there because I see them posted all the time about more opportunities to do certain things with my company, and I just think it's fabulous. Like, I can't wait. I was just telling my partner the other day, I can't wait to move up, because y'all know I'm gonna move up. I always do. Okay, but that brings me to cons, and the first pro that I gave as far as being gone is also the first con, because Jesus, it is hard to get in a routine when you're always gone. And I miss my puppy, okay? Like, I be having to leave my puppy with my uncle and let him watch her, and I know she be wondering, like, where is my mama at? And I be like, girl. So I hate that, you know, I can only go get her for a couple days and then she has to go back, and it's just frustrating. Like, every time it's just when you get into a good routine, then it's like travel throws a wrench at you and you're like, what the hell? Or your A days, because for the most part I know where I'm going, so I can plan for that accordingly. But then when you get your A days, you don't know what the heck you're doing, where the hell you're going, and then when they do assign you something, you might get rerouted. Like, sometimes that part is annoying. And then the worst part about this is commuting. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let me just say this. Detroit is a great base. Okay? Detroit is a great base. I do feel like I can hold certain things because it's not super senior, it's a junior base, and the trip credits are usually pretty good. You know, like the legs per day, the hours that you work, it's pretty good trips out of Detroit. However, that one time that I picked up a trip out of Atlanta, I was so happy to just finish my trip and get in my car and go home. It is so annoying when you have your day off and then you have to spend your day off getting to base, or when you get home from your trip and then you have to wait around to catch a flight home and fight against all the other commuters to get a jump seat or get a seat. And then when I finally get a seat on a flight to Atlanta, I have to fly there. It takes about 2 hours roughly. And then when I finally get to Atlanta, I have to go to the employee shuttle, and then I get on the employee shuttle and they take me to the parking lot, and then from the parking lot it takes 40 minutes to get to my house from the parking lot. And I just be thinking, it just took me almost 4 hours to get home, and the people that I work with that are based in Detroit, they've been home for almost 4 hours, and I'm still trying to get home just for my 2 to 3 days off, and I have to come right back and do it again. So commuting sucks. It is literally like a second job. Like, if those flights aren't looking good, you're trying to look at other routes to see if you can go through other places, you're trying to look at other airlines. It is just like, ugh. I will be so glad when I can just get in my car after a trip and come home. You have no idea. You really don't. Aside from that, guys, I really do feel like the job is easy once you get out of training. Training is so hard. But dealing with the passengers, etc., is not something that I find hard, because I did that as a gate agent. In my opinion, they were worse when I was a gate agent than they are now. So if you have any questions about my life as a flight attendant, let me know. I just don't, you know, I really feel like sometimes when I get my check, and I'm honestly speaking, I'm like, wow, all this money for that little bit of work? Because it's the same thing every day. It's different people, different locations, but I'm literally getting on the plane, helping people board, making sure I do my safety duties, serving whatever I'm serving, and then helping people deplane and getting off. It's just like, you can let it go. Even if you have somebody that was mean to you, rude to you, whatever, once they leave, it's over with. It's done. You don't have to worry about those people again. So I love that. All right, so the next thing that I want to touch on is weight gain. Y'all, I have gained so much weight. And a part of it is what I mentioned just a minute ago when I was talking about it's just so hard for me to stay consistent with working out and eating healthy. So I didn't realize this, but when I was an instructor, most of the time it was virtual. And I was working 8 to 5 Mountain Time because I was based in Denver, so that was 10 to 7 Eastern Time, which is where I lived. So I had a routine. Monday through Friday, I had a routine. And I didn't realize it until now that I am struggling to keep a routine. So I would wake up at 7. I would take Annie to the bathroom. And then I would walk for 30 minutes. I would jump rope, maybe do some squats and lunges, run up and down the steps in my complex. And then I would come in the house. I would take a shower. I would drink some water. I would drink my little morning coffee. And then I would start getting ready to sign in because I had to be signed in by 9:30. We took a break every 2 hours. So I would start teaching at 10. My students' first break was at 12. It is a 15-minute break. So during my 15-minute break, I would get up. I would make me like a little quick breakfast and I would eat it. And the next 2 hours was my students' lunch. So then I would eat lunch. And the next 2 hours was my students' another 15-minute break, and I think I would just chill. But when I would get off at 7, then I would have my dinner, and I was only eating between the hours of 12 and 8, intermittent fasting. So I was working out 4 times a week. Friday was my morning that I didn't work out. It was my morning to sleep in. But I was working out 4 times a week, and I was eating on that schedule, and I had all my food pre-prepped from the Sunday before. And so now I don't know, I do know when I'm working, but it fluctuates so much. Because I will say this, if I have an early report time, then it stays that way. For example, the report time for this trip was 4:20 in the morning. So every single report time for this 3-day trip has been early. 4:35. It was 4:35 today, and it's going to be 4:35 tomorrow. But it's 4:35. Yesterday was Mountain Time. And then tomorrow it'll be Pacific Time. It's still earlier than when I normally wake up. So, but it's just kind of like really hard for you to eat from 12 to 8 when you've been up since 2 o'clock. You're hungry. So, actually, and then, you know, I had my gallbladder removed. And I wasn't able to eat the way a normal person eats without, you know, every time I would eat, I would be in pain or I would throw up when I had gallstones. And so now that I don't have gallstones, or when I got rid of my gallbladder, I was able to eat. And I'm not gonna lie, I was just gorging because I was like, oh my God, I can eat and I'm not in pain. So between finally being able to enjoy my food after 1.5 years of having gallstones and not having a consistent schedule, it's been hard. It's been really hard to maintain myself. So I bought this pocket planner, and what I've been doing with this pocket planner is writing down all my trips, the report time, and the time frame that I'm going to eat based on the report time. So for example, I'm off, this trip ends on the 10th. Okay, so I'll be home the 11th and the 12th, and I'll be home part of the 13th because I don't report until 6:45 that day, and I have a 2-day San Diego. But my report time that day is at 6:45. So on the 11th and 12th when I'm off, I'm gonna eat how I normally eat, which is eating 12 to 8. But then when I report at 7:45, you know, I'm gonna get to San Diego at 11:50, and that's like 2:50 East Coast time. So I made my eating window from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. so that I can eat a little later that day, so that I'm not starving while I'm working my trip. So that's just an example of how I'm trying to fluctuate with my how I'm trying to do my intermittent fasting, because my schedule is all over the place. So I have that 2-day trip. It's both of those days on that 2-day trip, my eating window will be 2 to 10. But then right after that, I have a 3-day trip. One day I report at 1:37, 12:25, and 1:35. So I'm gonna do 12 to 8 the first day, and then 2 to 10 the last 2 days. So I have it in my planner. I'm gonna try really hard to stick to it. I also have workout days in this planner, like days that I plan on working out. Most of them are my off days, but on the days that I want to work out while I'm on a trip, I have looked at that hotel to see if they have a gym. Like this hotel has a gym, but my choice of workout today is bike riding, so I'm gonna go bike riding and probably do some jump ropes. Which, do I have my jump rope? I don't know. But yeah, it's just been hard for me to stay consistent. So if anybody wants to help me stay consistent, be an accountability partner, DM me on Instagram. There's my Instagram. Help me. And that brings me to last things, my mental health. So one of the things that I've always known and still know is that when you become a flight attendant, it's very lonely because you spend a lot of time by yourself. Me personally, that doesn't bother me. I like to spend time by myself. However, I have things that have happened in my life recently that have affected my mental health. So in general, I love my job and I'm pretty happy. But I did have my cousin who passed on October 10th unexpectedly. She left behind a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old daughter, and I am their godparents as well as their cousin. And her child's father lives in South Carolina where I used to live, and they want me to move back. The children do, you know, just because we have a good relationship. So again, if you watch my Road to 30 series and also my Becoming a Flight Attendant, then you would have saw that I used to live in Houston. I was living in Houston for about 4 or 5 months, and then I moved back to Atlanta when I got this job, and I've been in Atlanta ever since. I had not considered moving back to South Carolina, but of course now I am considering it because I just want to be there for her children, and that's what you sign up for when you're a godparent. I mentioned very briefly in a different video that I have a little bit of anxiety dealing with her death, and I do, and it's just because death is so permanent. You know, like the person, they're just gone. They're never coming back, not in this lifetime. And that's a hard pill to swallow, especially with her just being 1 year older than me. She was only 33. And then her children, I just look at her children and it bothers me. So my company does offer counseling. I am currently in therapy to deal with this. And I just, yeah, life throws you wrenches, and I, again, never expected to be moving back to South Carolina, but you probably will see that in the next few months, and I don't know how that's going to affect, you know, the way that I commute or what kind of content you might see, because, you know, I have my life in Atlanta, and I hang out with Desiree from time to time, and it's not like it's far. It's just a 5-hour drive or a 30-minute flight for me to get to Atlanta, but I still won't be living there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what else to say about it other than just stay tuned. I kind of feel like this This life update is not everything that I wanted to say, but it's most of it. So I'll probably do like a more uniformed one a little later, where I have better notes than what I have right now. But hopefully, I don't really know what's coming next, because I have a 2-day San Diego, and after that, you know what? I lay over in Chicago for 2 nights on my layovers after that. And I haven't been to Chicago since I was with my last airline. So I probably will vlog that, because it's been a long time since I've been to Chicago. So, this video was a little different. I do apologize. Thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing. I do see my subscriber count going up slowly but surely. And I appreciate you guys. Oh, and I'm at World of Wiz. If I can edit it the right way, I'll pop in the picture here. Because in the picture I was jumpsuiting to South Carolina, but she was working the flight and she's in her uniform, so I don't want to get her in trouble. But I was like, can I take a picture with you? And she was like, and I was like, I know who you are. I was like, you probably know who I am too, but not really. But I have commented on her video before, so I had to like tell her, I commented on your video before. And then she was like, oh, I remember. But she was very nice. She took a picture with me. Like I said, if I can get I'm gonna like put an emoji over her uniform and I'll pop the picture in. But anyways, thank you guys so much. I will see you next week.